Welcome, friends, to episode 28 of the Q Podcast, a podcast where a gathering of friends weigh in on geek and gaming passion topics. Today is November 1st, 2015, and my name is Ben freeBrunch Thomas. Joining me today is Patrick Figfire, aka Happy Accidents Figueroa.
Hey, Ben, since when did my parents tell you that I was a happy accident?
I was wondering when that was going to come up.
I thought that shit was private, dude.
I mean, happy implies happy, right? That's a good thing. Everything went well.
You're right. You're right. There's
Bob-
nothing wrong with me.
Bob Ross does not believe in mistakes.
What is Bob Ross?
The Bob Ross
I
is
know.
the legendary Joya Painter, who's been
The original happy accident.
Yeah. He's been that haircut is a happy accident. He's been live streaming like crazy. We also got Christian C Monkey Elriaga.
What up?
I'm not gonna call you any kind of happy or sad mistake.
No, that would break everything. We don't do that.
Or just maybe sad accident, and then this podcast just turns really dark. But it's
No,
alright.
I have not been able to stop watching that stream. You guys said you knew who Bob Ross was before today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just because,
It's the painting.
yeah, just like more in memes. I didn't watch him on live TV or anything,
Oh,
but
yeah, same.
purely because of memes and just old YouTube videos and parodies.
Yeah, because I was like, what did I do in my life to avoid knowing who he was?
I
There
just feel
had
like
to be an
it's
SNL skit about him. There probably was. I swear there was.
Yeah.
and there's a bunch of parodies out there.
I also had two Facebook friends who are not at all nerdy, so they definitely do not know what Twitch TV is, who dressed up as Bob Ross for Halloween. And I was like he's like really in right now. I don't know. I feel like
He's so hot right now.
he's so
He's
hot.
so hot right now.
That he's so hot right now.
The dude is a good painter. I'll give
Isn't
him
there a
that.
second one coming out?
Oh
Zoolander?
yeah,
A second what?
Yeah.
Zoolander.
Oh, I'm more excited for the new Ghostbusters than a new Zoolander.
I'm not as
Yeah.
excited for either as I thought I'd be.
Well,
I'll watch Kate McKinnon in anything. So
She's in the Ghostbusters.
yeah,
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna Google her later.
okay.
'Cause I don't know what she looks like.
I mean, she's great in SNL. She's like
Oh, okay.
she's great.
Is this when we had that discussion? I was like, is she the one that hosts the news? And you were like, what's the news? And I was like, that thing.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Is that not?
That was Cicely
people.
Strong, but no,
Damn it.
she's-
Okay.
yeah.
So
I think
she-
she's in it too, though. But wait. I don't remember who the four of them are. I know Kristen Wiig, Leslie. Ah, shit.
Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa. Okay, it's not Cicely Strong. It's Leslie Jackson, I think, and Kate McKinnon.
And everyone was all bummed that the Emma Stone was not chosen or whatever. Or no, I think she had like a schedule conflict. That's why she couldn't do it. Did you get-
sadness.
You don't schedule conflict to Ghostbusters?
No, that's you gotta get your
You're Emma
priorities
Stone. You
together.
probably can.
Did
She
you
can
get-
do anything she wants.
Yeah,
to
that's
me.
true.
Did you guys hear that her and Goldfarb are no more? Or not Goldfarb,
Favre?
Andrew Gold and Spider-Man.
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield. Goldfarb is like a oh gosh. He's like
How
a
we
Goldfarb.
transitioned, and Ben wasn't right about any of it.
Well, no, I was saying so I'm right about the fact that they broke up. So
Right, but
So Emma Stone's back on the
just
market.
name-wise, Ben was just...
So
Shoot.
you're saying I have a chance?
I'm saying that I called dibs. No,
Okay.
that's how it works. All right, let's jump into last week in shenanigans. Let's start with Patrick.
I'm super
Sure.
excited to hear him just go off on people now.
What do you mean?
Oh, because just how much you hate spoilers.
Oh, I mean,
Oh.
we'll get to that in a sec. We'll start with some Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I got to play it quite a bit this past week. Newsflash, it is an Assassin's Creed game. I don't know if you guys knew that.
I didn't know that.
But I think I'm 20 to 30% done with like the whole game, like collectibles and everything. I'm probably 40 to 50% done with the story. I mean, I'm sure you guys have read like it's not as bad a launch as Unity. There's no in the games that I've played, I've never ran into like a huge bug glitch or game stopping moment. So
And to be fair, that's sort of expected. I mean, nothing really game-breaking, but you're gonna get the occasional hiccup. It's just...
I mean, I really even haven't gotten a hiccup. Like just like falling through the floor or like guys just floating, it hasn't been
No one
an
without
issue at all.
no one without faces.
No one without faces or random NPCs just barging into cutscenes. Like it's been it's been pretty great.
Why is it called Syndicate?
The Syndicate.
Is it
I
just
know
like a
Syndicate
cool
from, like,
word kind
I
of
think
thing?
so.
Like a
Hold on.
crime
Syndicate is like
Like a crime
a
syndicate.
gang.
Crime syndicate, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If that's the case, what was Unity about?
I think it was
Togetherness.
because it's the French Revolution, so you're gonna. The
Oh,
whole
is that
thing
what?
was to
Okay,
like,
I see. I see.
rebel against the royal people. I don't really know a lot about French history.
They're-
Pretty sure history started in 1776 when they signed the Declaration of Independence.
Damn right.
I'm just saying. But
Guillotine,
Evie
though.
and Jacob,
That
the
guillotine.
protagonists of this game, are definitely my favorite assassins since Ezio. They're
That still is
twins.
very number one, right?
That's Assassin's Creed 2.
Two. Okay,
You're thinking of Altair.
that's right.
Mm.
But yeah, they're twins with very contrast personalities. Evie is like very calculating and stealthy, and Jacob is like, let's fucking hit the Templars hard and loud.
Yeah.
Um,
Syndicate.
and it's really cool because they can be built two different ways. Like one can be built stealthy, and the other one can be built like just fuck shit up.
That's a cool idea. It's kind of like if you were playing Infamous and you wanted to play Good and Bad or Mass Effect Good and Bad, you don't have to like play the game twice to
exactly
try
like
out both.
no, yeah, no, and that is great that they give you those options. Some of the reviewers are a little like, well, like as in the end game, they're pretty much the same person, but like when you choose to play whoever, like for example, there's like free child labor, free the children working in this factory.
Why would you
like-
do that? Why would you
I know,
shut?
right? They're destroying the economy, guys.
Who's gonna make the sweaters and stuff?
Who's gonna make our Nikes?
Yeah.
Industrial Revolution, so they're making like coal and shit, but
I'm fairly certain
They're
children are still
making
our
coal.
Nikes, but that's...
making coal and shit. I'm a chemical engineer.
With their
I know.
bare hands, they just mash together things. and
They're just compressing
comes
carbon life forms so long and hard that they just become rocks.
child
but,
labor at its finest.
Yeah, I mean you can approach it two different ways. You can go in super stealthy, or you can go in really, really. I mean, and since they're built so similarly, it just depends on who I am and how I want to approach it. So it's like the game doesn't like force you to like, oh, Eevee's super stealthy, let me do it that way. I'm like, when I'm Eevee would do it this way, so I'm going to do it this way. So it's
More
really
of a matter of role playing.
yeah, exactly, and then that's a lot of fun. I mean, Assassin's Creed has always prided itself in creating incredible landscapes of their areas of choice, and Industrial Revolution London is so much fun to zip around on. And it feels like Gangs of New York, the video game, because like you can just walk around with like a gang in like vests and top hats and like those little hats,
Swag.
and then all their weapons are like tiny knives, brass knuckles, sword canes, and pistols. It's great just like running into another like group of 10 guys and just like going at it in the middle of the street.
I love a good sword cane.
Exactly. Oh, it's a lot of fun. But
It's kind of
That is
unfortunate.
very Gangs of New York-esque, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that they've had this like not finally, but this launch was super successful, but it's really gone under the radar.
yeah,
it's
and I
such a-
think yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's just because there's no drama or anything like
Mhm.
it wasn't a shit show like Unity. Like Unity probably got even more coverage than Syndicate just because it was such a shit show of
Oh,
a start.
People could not stop talking about that game,
Exactly.
and I
so-
didn't really know if that was because it was an Assassin's Creed game or because it was a shit show. And now I think it looks.
It was
clear
the latter.
that- yeah,
I would
It's a
assume
shit
it's the latter.
show.
I wonder how good Syndicate's gonna sell just because of Unity and because of like all the games coming out this fall. But I
Yeah,
don't know.
I'm curious to see some numbers, but
didn't
it's-
they? Oh wait, no, that's a spoiler. Sorry.
It's all right. Yeah.
How many more Assassin's Creed games do you want?
I will keep getting them as if they're interesting.
Yeah.
Like if
They're
once
running
they
out of
start-
revolutionary time periods.
Well,
That's
no,
all I'm
I
saying.
don't think so. Like they could easily go into feudal Japan. They could go to India. They could go to China. they
People
could
have
go
wanted them to do
This
that
is
for
true.
forever.
This is true.
right, and they even in Black Flag, they even like make fun of it. Like, cause there's like the futuristic setting, and then there's like a scene I very specifically remember, like, cause you're walking in like their studio, and they're like coming soon, Assassin's Creed Japan. Audiences have been pining for this for a long time, and it's like,
Yeah,
fuckers.
that would
Uh,
totally be big if they did that.
yeah, I mean they got plenty of stuff to deal with, and I
EA
don't
plays a
think
ninja.
in a couple of weeks we're gonna get the quote leak of next year's game, so I'll be excited for that. Hopefully it's not. I don't know. I mean, I haven't finished the game. I don't think this one warrants any type of sequel similar, but
Yeah, I mean,
When's the Fallout 4
you could have
release
said
date?
that about Assassin's Creed 3 though.
Does anybody know?
Fallout 4 is like mid-November,
yeah,
like 19th or something, 14th.
yeah,
I'm
Super good lineup
making
for the
things
fall.
up. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
The pre-sequel.
That's Borderlands, the pre-sequel. After finishing Tales from the Borderlands, I got really, really into Borderlands stuff. So, I just started playing it again, or not again. This is the first time I've played it. It's the same loot-based shooter as two was, but I mean,
More
it's
mechanics.
yeah, and it's fun just going from exclamation point to exclamation point and just blowing things up in between. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just got me excited for what Borderlands 3 could be on this current generation.
Did you play the Battleborn beta?
Well, not NDA. Not supposed to talk about it, but
Oh, I forgot about that. But
um,
you did play it?
I played it a little bit. The servers weren't. It's not. The servers weren't like. I don't think a lot of people got it. Because I couldn't matchmake, so I like
Mm.
played it by myself for a little bit. It was a little tough.
Okay, I'll ask you about it after the podcast.
Yeah.
Sorry, fans.
Sorry, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be
Uh,
Sorry to
um,
burst your. I was like, oh, Borderlands, that's Gearbox. Well, that
Battleborn,
wasn't
yeah.
Gearbox, but.
No,
So,
it is Gearbox.
well, no, not pre-sequel.
Oh
Pre-sequel.
yeah, it's like 2K Australia.
Yeah, yeah. Which I guess you probably, I don't know. It sounds like they did a
Did
good
that have
job.
any impact on the game, like in comparison to the?
I mean, they used a lot of the same assets. Like
Mm.
you can tell that it's just like
But I mean,
the
like
same.
writing wise, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. I don't think the writing is as strong, but
Hmm.
But you
it's
could
pretty
definitely
good.
tell.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's fascinating because it's more about Handsome Jack, and Handsome Jack is probably now one of my favorite video game characters of all time. Um,
Shit.
like no, he's after
After
playing
Tales.
after two Tales and then the pre-sequel, like his character arc has been like it's been one of my favorites of all time.
I can't even remember the name of the pony.
Butt Stallion.
Butt Stallion. There we go.
Mm,
Yeah.
Nice.
But no, it's good stuff. And then I just wanted to talk about a follow-up to last week's discussion on spoilers and how we can't get away from them. Later that night, The Walking Dead aired and like some crazy shit happened. And I'm about to go to bed. My sister texts me at like 11:30. She's like, "Did you watch The Walking Dead?" I was like, "No, I didn't. I'm trying to go to bed. I'll watch it tomorrow." She was like, "You need to watch The Walking Dead." I was like, just I'm going to bed soon." And she's like, "It's like
You were
pretend
probably
it's
like at 11:30. You were probably in bed, like
I
trying to
was
fall
I
asleep.
was
Yeah,
in bed.
you have to get to work early.
Yeah,
That's
and
frustrating.
and I was just like, I'm just gonna go to bed. And then little did I know, the next morning, like a shit show of media just like flooded the internet.
Pretty sure it was on USA Today.
It was everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, and we talked about how Game of Thrones is a show where you just can't not watch.
There's just
Or you can't even be upset if you get spoiled.
because there's an unwritten rule for that show that
Right.
sorry, I'm not sorry kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty much.
And The Walking Dead is very along the same lines. And it's crazy that you can't even have 24 hours.
Mm-mm.
Like,
can't
there's
have-
just.
You can't get on Twitter. You can't get on CNN. You can't get on USA
Exactly.
Today. You can't talk to your
And
friends.
It's crazy just because everyone is clicking everything. Like, obviously, USA Today wouldn't have put this on their front page if they didn't think people were going to click this shit. And so it's just.
I feel
uh,
like this is good for like cable companies
mhm.
because they want people to watch stuff live. They don't want people like watching VODs and like Netflix and TiVo and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think they intended this.
No,
to happen.
no, I don't.
Obviously, AMC or whoever was writing it was doing this for ratings and just like stuff, but I don't know if they had in mind a Oh yeah, let's get more people to watch it live. But it definitely makes me want to watch it the same night because I could not. I mean, I didn't spoil myself with it, but like, it's everyone's fucking talking about it. So when you're sitting there watching it, you're like,
Well, what's
this is
gonna?
gonna happen right here.
Yeah,
It's gonna, and it happened, and then
yeah. So on a non-spoiler note, how did you feel about what happened?
well, well,
Well, I'm gonna say that one of the very major characters met a demise. I'm gonna say that.
it's crazy
You know what though? They
because
foreshadowed the shit out of it.
Really? Do you watch that show, Christian?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
the
We never talk about that show on this podcast.
they foreshadowed the shit out of it, which is why I was like, I knew this was gonna happen. I just didn't want it to. With
yeah.
every fiber of my being, I was like, I know you all are leading up to this, but please, for the love of God, don't.
Okay, so like with the internet being a sleuth, you could easily like people have like just riding the hype wave. They've like found things online proving that okay, it didn't actually happen or this could happen. Like
Because they
it's
look
just
back and
within
they're just
2 or 3 days, the internet has already come up with the solution or the Reddit detectives are like
this
it's
pixel is
Well,
off
like
here.
people predicted the end of Game of Thrones before George Martin even wrote it. Like
yeah.
he's like getting kind of upset because they're all like guessing the coolest ways to end the story, and he's just like, well, you're like painting me into a corner here. Like, so that's another example.
Yeah. And it's crazy just like when one person figures up something, it like becomes almost in the back of your mind as you watch the rest of the show. Then it's just I don't know. It's a little it's interesting cuz like I can't say it's going to ruin it for me because I'm going to keep watching, but it's interesting dynamic that it's added to the show as I'm watching. You know what I mean? It's not intended. Like as if Scott Gimple said, "Here's if I binge watch it and didn't read it on the internet, it would be a different experience entirely." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Versus like everything being like the internet or even just I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if we keep talking about it, we're just gonna keep spoiling it. Well, I don't know. I think that, like, yeah. I mean, Walking Dead has approached that Game of Thrones zeitgeist where so many people watch it that it's just like you kind of are accountable for the spoilers or whatnot. But
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Well, I played more Super Meat Boy. Uh, I'm enjoying that game immensely. I finally beat the third boss. I liked it because I don't know. I don't consider myself like great at side scrollers. Like I'm pretty good at games, I think, but I'm hitting these like insurmountable walls, and it's kind of giving me that Dark Souls esque like um dopamine where like I actually do keep ending up beating these crazy levels, and that game's just a ton of fun. So I'm still playing that. I'm playing Metal Gear Solid 5.
I gotta say, Ben, I need more D-Dog snaps in my life.
I know,
Did you
dude,
like that?
That's adorable.
I did like that.
I'm so pissed because like I can't rewatch those cutscenes, and about 2 seconds after I sent it to you guys, they showed the puppy D-Dog like trying to climb into the helicopter, and he like reached up with his little paws and then fell back like on his back because he like couldn't get in the helicopter. It was
That's
so,
adorable.
it was
God
so
damn it.
adorable. It's like the best animated dog I've ever seen. It's like so realistic. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, Metal Gear Solid is not. It's the best game I've played in forever. Like, I feel guilty how much I'm enjoying it because I've never played. I've watched Metal Gear Solids, but I don't know anything about the story. Something tells me, and I mean, I know this just from people talking about the game, that Metal Gear Solid 5 is literally nothing like any Metal Gear Solid has ever been before.
That's true.
Except for Peace Walker, which was the PSP game, but
Luckily enough, you don't spoil anything for yourself by playing MGS5 if you wanted to go back through the others.
yeah, because MGS5 I think takes place before
It takes place before like
the entire
everything.
storyline.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's just an unreal sandbox. Like at least the first part of the game is just this giant landscape in Afghanistan. It's just gorgeous. Like these rolling orange or dirt hills and all these like outposts and all these like tunnels and crawl through, and it's just like I've never enjoyed a stealth game so much, and I think it's because the gameplay is so good. Like you feel like you have total control over I think it's Venom Snake.
Mm-hmm.
So normally in stealth games, I get really unhappy and stressed because I hate getting caught and I like hate that
Starting
anxiety.
over, yeah.
But it's almost like in Metal Gear Solid, I feel like I have so much control over my abilities. Like I have like there's like 50 tools at your disposal that I just feel like jacked up and super powerful because I know that I can deal with any situation that happens. Um, and you have that option. Like I've been on several missions where my stealth got broken and I just killed everybody. Like I
Yeah.
just like mowed everyone down. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like it just makes it fun. Like I mean, some people might get kind of pissed off because they want that challenge, and that's kind of the people that get drawn to stealth games. But for someone like me, it's like it's one of the first stealth type experiences that hasn't scared me away. I'm like
because
I'm,
most games it's either pass or fail, right? When it comes
Yeah.
to stealth, so it's very daunting when you're over here and you can't be broken by anything. Whereas it looks like MGS5 is a more play the way you want.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
No, that's good.
And there's this huge meta game where you've got this home base and you're picking up like medicinal plants and things that you find and storage and metals and getting points and you're doing research.
and you're ballooning people into the
You're
stratosphere.
Fultoning. Oh god, it's so much fun. It's such a good game.
Sorry, the first time I saw that animation when they demoed the game, it was ridiculously hilarious.
There
to me.
are so many, like it is a weird, like everyone talks about how odd Hideo Kojima is because it's like you have a cassette tape and you can like go into a stall and like hide by playing like sound of toilets flushing and like you can do all these odd
Things with the boxes.
yeah.
like,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I can just crawl with a cardboard box across like an open space and they'll see the box and be like, huh, why is that box moving? And they'll walk up to it and I like pop out of the box and I put them to sleep. It's awesome. And then I started watching the TV show Ballers on HBO. Do you guys know what that show's about?
No idea.
I only know The Rock is in it.
Yeah, it's essentially the show should be called The Rock.
Or Entourage with The Rock.
Yeah, it's like about this kind of retired football player who is trying to like get his like kind of reputation and money back and get his life together by acting as an agent to all these young dumb football players who are just want to party and get DUIs and whatever. It's like kind of popular. It's like a lot of sex, a lot of like badass dudes.
It's got The Rock.
It's a
I mean,
I'm about
Yeah.
to so it's a really shitty show. Like I'm putting that out there. Like I watched 3 episodes and I was pretty angry. Like it was honestly I think I've said honestly a million times, but I'm being honest when I say that it is a super dumbed down, like almost offensive portrayal of like jocks and like what football players are about, and like the characters are all just beyond petty, like petty in like the worst, most
Is
conceited
it to the point of
way.
like satire almost?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Like I think it's to the point it's doing it to make a plot out of it. Like you've got your like all-star friend, like football player who his like entourage of like high school friends are just leeching all of his money and trying to like blackmail his money manager so they can, like, the guy got like a $12 million contract and within a year he was like $300,000 in debt, and it's just like all these people are just like scumbags, and it just paints this picture of like, it's like, no, like it's just depressing. I don't know. I think it honestly, I think it's kind of offensive to like, I don't know, black people, football players. Like it's so stereotypical in the way that they're acting, and it's a really popular show. But anyway, I'll stop raging on it. But I was pretty disappointed.
I always thought, like, obviously the term baller means somebody who's making a lot of money nowadays in connotation. I always thought that baller was strictly in reference to basketball, though.
Yeah, I did think that too, but it's all NFL. There's no basketball. They got some cameos, like some famous football players are in it, but it's just
I feel like that was a poor choice of title.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea was like it's all about the excess. Like everyone's driving McLarens, everyone's hooking up with cocktail
Oh, so
waitresses.
it's the modern day equivalent, like what baller is supposed to be.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
like
Yeah.
let's hook up with the cocktail waitress in the bathroom and then go back home to our like wife, and I don't know. It's just like Like, no, this is gross, not fun. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure that's a lot like the game that you were playing this week, Christian.
Hmm.
It was The Rock in Guild Wars.
No,
That'd be a great
sadly, no.
that would be a great cameo.
I believe the guy who voices Drake plays the playable character if you pick a human, though, which is interesting.
The rapper? No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Nathan
the
Drake,
Uncharted Drake.
Nolan North.
I mean,
Yeah.
Nolan North's in just about everything, so.
Yeah, he is pretty
Yeah.
much just about everything. No, yeah, just pretty much more Guild Wars. That's all I can say.
We should backtrack and see how many times Guild Wars has been Christian's topic, and then do
Every
Guild Wars Part 8.
every week.
1 week is gonna be something new, and we're just gonna panic. We're just gonna
Actually, yeah, it's gonna be new whenever they release that Overwatch release date.
Hey, that's a good segue into current events.
Ooh, smooth.
My problem is that I point it out every time.
You do.
Patrick tried to warn me, and I don't learn. Well, there's no going back now. So current events this week. We got a ton of stuff. It was a really big week, but the first thing we'll talk about is the Overwatch closed beta.
Oh, starting at the bottom.
We're starting at the bottom. Now we're here. So Overwatch is the new multiplayer first-person shooter being developed by Blizzard. It was unveiled last November 2014. It's a Team Fortress similar looking thing. It's like a class-based shooter, but it has some MOBA elements. A lot of people, it reuses some of the assets from the like canceled new MMO Titan that they had rumored and were working on for a really long time. It doesn't sound like much, like that whole description, but
dear God.
yeah,
Like, words do not do it justice.
easily, like, yeah, probably me and Christian's most anticipated game, like, of all these huge fall games.
It's so polished and so,
So
clean and
polished.
so crisp.
And it's like, it's polished, which is what we come to expect from Blizzard, but they've never made a game like this. So it's like the first-person shooter competitive multiplayer game that we've seen that has the Blizzard polish to it. And it's
I mean, it's the first
gorgeous.
FPS,
Yeah.
first and foremost, right? But
Is
they
it?
do have some experience. Yeah, the first Blizzard FPS.
Except for
anyway.
StarCraft,
Did they have an FPS?
Marines. It was a canceled first-person StarCraft
Oh,
game.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
was
wasn't
called
aware of
Ghosts, StarCraft Ghosts.
That'd
The
be
first one
kinda
that's
cool,
actually slated
actually.
for release.
yeah, it would have been cool. People played it and they said it was fun, and it still got canceled.
So maybe incorporating some lost elements from that. question
Yeah,
mark?
or at the very
mean-
least, just like people that like really wanted to make a first-person shooter but never got the chance, kind of thing.
So what it looks like is that Blizzard's just kind of been building their repertoire up until this, because now they have experience making MOBAs.
Yeah.
One, Heroes of the Storm,
yeah,
which is starting a competitive season coming up sometime. They have experience with apparently the FPS genre. So and I mean, just stellar. Blizzard is always stellar when it comes to graphics and just the unique character designs, in my
Yeah.
opinion. It's I mean, they're just knocking it out of the park one after another.
They really are. I want to read some quotes from some of the developers of the game talking about kind of what they were going for, because I thought they were really interesting. They cite a desire to keep the game style simple, so an emphasis on accomplishing goals as a team rather than trying to get a large amount of kills. So there will be no traditional deathmatch mode.
Oh, I like that.
I
I actually do like that.
And he also said, this is Chris Metzen, said that we have like a long legacy of developing multiplayer games, and it has come down to question mark, is it even possible to build a shooter that doesn't feel cynical, that doesn't feel cruel, that doesn't feel nasty? Can you build one that really promotes teamwork and relationships and having fun with your friends, not getting killed with a knife that was thrown halfway across the map as soon as you jump in, question mark? And I'm just like that was what I was wondering, because I haven't played a first-person shooter in forever, and as I watch these huge streamers streaming Overwatch, I'm like, this just feels like everything I want out of a team shooter.
It just looks so much fun.
It's so much fun. I mean,
So much fun.
That's just fun. The cast of, I'm gonna read more. The cast of playable characters in Overwatch was stated as being intended to portray a diverse representation of genders and ethnicities, including males, females, and non-human characters such as robots and a gorilla.
Yeah, the gorilla.
Jeff Kaplan, the gorilla is so scary. Jeff Claplin explained that the industry was clearly in an age where gaming is for everybody, going on to say that increasingly people want to feel represented from all walks of life, boys and girls, everybody. We feel indebted to do our best to honor that. It's just like this full mantra on display with Blizzard physics and glorious art. It's awesome. It's awesome.
It just, oh my god, I'm so hyped for this.
Yeah.
Like this is that when that comes out, that will be my topic for another 8 weeks.
I'm excited. They still haven't decided how they're going to monetize it yet either. Like no one knows if it's going to be like everyone assumes there's going to be some kind of free to play microtransaction something because that's
It's
just
probably gonna, I would hope and just big hope that they do it the way they do Heroes, because Heroes is a good. I mean, it's the exact same way League does it, the exact same way Heroes is going to do it, the exact same way I feel like this game should be done. Because, you're not doing a pay to win, obviously.
Yeah.
It's skill based. So I would assume the only thing you really want out of this are 1, upcoming characters, and 2, really cool skins for those characters.
Yeah. Yep. It's awesome. All right. We also had Paris Games Week this week, where Sony gave their mega press conference in lieu of a what's that big Gamescom? So Gamescom is usually the big fall European showcase, but Sony didn't go this year, so they did Games Week instead. A quick run through of some of the keynotes. No Man's Sky release date. What was it? June 2016, Patrick?
Yep.
Coming to PC and PS4. So we finally know when it's coming out. Like Patrick said to me earlier this week, like it's good that we know, so we're not asking questions.
Yeah.
That will be exactly 2 years from the time that the game got that the game blew up at E3, which to me is like. At first, I was like raging. I was like why, why were you hyping it? Why was it like your showcase game 2 years before it was going to come out? Obviously, it's probably gotten delayed and the scope has increased as Sony's funneling more money into it. Hopefully it's good.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I can also add to that is we'll play it when it gets here.
Yeah, like I want to say that Last of Us was the exact same thing. Like it didn't come out until 2 E3s after it was announced. It got delayed, and it's one of the best games of all time.
Yeah, I mean, you watch how it was at Last of Us, at least when it was first showcased, and you can see how far it changed in terms of like just the GUI and like everything. So I mean, it'll be a different product than we saw 2 years ago, but I mean that doesn't mean it won't be great.
Matterfall was just this kind of neat CG trailer from this a well-known dual stick shooter. I think that's what
it
it's
looks
called.
unique.
Yeah,
I mean, to say the least.
It's neat. They showcased the Uncharted multiplayer, which I think people are happy about that, mostly because most people don't really want to see anything else from the single player. They just want to play it when it comes out.
Yeah.
There's some rumors.
And I mean, how do you show single player without spoiling anything?
Exactly.
I mean, yeah. I will say I was never in Uncharted 3 at its heyday, but from what I remember, that its multiplayer that seemed tacked on was very popular.
Yeah, it was popular. I hope it doesn't have the same microtransaction bullshit that Last of Us had. Those are really annoying microtransactions in the multiplayer.
Yeah. I was hoping they would all be. I mean, with The Last of Us, it was like all. I wish it was all purely cosmetic, but it slowly became not the case.
Detroit Become Human is the next game from, I believe, Quantic Dream. They made Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, the Violet something. No. Have either of you played Heavy Rain or Beyond Two Souls?
Played Heavy Rain.
You played
I watched
Heavy
a
Rain?
YouTube video of a guy who purposely missed all the QuickTime events in a chase scene. And like there was this scene where he was like trying to run on ice and he just like kept falling, or this scene where the like guy he's chasing pulls down a bunch of chickens and the guy's just like doing this with the chickens and you're supposed to like it is hilarious.
Was it to illustrate how it doesn't matter what you do?
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
That's funny. What did you think of Heavy Rain, Christian?
I thought it was a unique storyline. I don't know. I really enjoyed just the depth to the game.
Because yeah, Quantic Dream has like a reputation of being this almost like too artistic for their own good, kind of like overly ambitious, a little bit top heavy, kind of in your face, unique storylines. But a lot of people really dig what they do, and it's nice like that they do different stuff. Detroit Become Human is about, from what we know, an AI named, I can't even remember her name, but I want to say she's a callback to an older character from like the Indigo Prophecy or something. But essentially, it's a game told from the point of view of the AI. It has like a lot of social commentary about how like there's like quote unquote, not quote unquote, this is my quote, that they're like slaves. Like the trailer depicts like this futuristic world where the AI are like have to sit in the back of the bus and like aren't really treated as like things with sentient thoughts and emotions and like first class citizens, and it's like the struggle that the AI has to deal with to kind of survive in a society where they were really created without the same kind of, they were just thrust into this situation. So it's a really
I highly
cool
recommend
idea.
watching the trailer for anyone who hasn't who's
Yeah.
listening in right now, because it's
a great trailer.
pretty good. Yeah,
Like the trailer has no, it doesn't seem like it has any kind of idea of what the game is actually gonna be like, but just it stands on its own just as an idea and as a trailer.
Yep.
That's good. That's always good for your first trailer for
Yeah.
any video game. Your announcement trailer is your proof of story. Because I mean, then you throw in the gameplay trailers, then you throw in like developer talk trailers. But I mean, you think about well, actually, and that's what kind of surprised me about Horizon Zero Dawn. Started with a gameplay trailer, but I mean, well, that's for another thing.
Which is awesome because
Yeah.
that means it's coming.
Yeah, because it managed to fit
it's
in.
more than a proof of concept now.
Right, it moved in like, yeah.
'Cause
I mean,
I
it started because the first like half was like a monologue, right, talking about the old ones were like this, this, and this, and then we find out the old ones are us actually, and then it gets into gameplay, that's fucking awesome.
And that game is gonna be out next fall.
I think what also gets me is like the seamless transition that they had between there made it for just such a good trailer. Or
Yeah.
Yeah, how you just jumped into it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gran Turismo Sport. Just kind of a like afterthought, really. I mean, I think that everyone's been looking for a Gran Turismo game for forever. It's the Sony flagship like simulator racing game. When do you guys think the last Gran Turismo came out?
It's been a while since I've heard
2006.
You guys
it.
obviously
Just check that out there.
You guys obviously don't play racing games. No, it was
No.
2013. Which this game was, I thought honestly I asked that question thinking it was a lot earlier than that. A lot of people were like, "Where is Gran Turismo? It needs to be like a launch game. It's been forever." But I don't know. It doesn't seem like that long. So that kind of makes my whole point mute. But
Well, what's the average release cycle of a racing game, right?
yeah, it's usually every 2 years.
Yeah.
So which is weird because Gran Turismo did seem like really far off. And it's also interesting because they called it Gran Turismo Sport instead of Gran Turismo 7 or 8 or whichever it is. A lot of people are kind of confused about that and hoping that it's not too different from the tried and true. Wild got a lot of buzz. It still looked like a really game pretty early in development, even though it was showcased 2 years ago, or 1 year ago. It's about nature, and you're like this shaman guy who can take control of animals and ride bears, and like the mission that they did in like the gameplay demo was you have to create this anti-venom and to summon this witch lady to kill the cannibals. Am I making sense? So he like was riding his bear, and then he took control of a hawk to kill a snake and it's just like this kind of really neat wilderness type game with no one really knows what it's going to be about, but it was interesting.
It seems everyone's going with a futuristic vibe for their games at this point.
You mean
I mean, it feels like most of the games we see coming out are
so like in contrast to Wild, because Wild
Yeah,
is more
yeah.
like prehistoric.
well, I mean, even if you take a look at Horizon, which we just mentioned, it's also got a very futuristic vibe, despite it being very nomadic
Yeah,
in theme.
Yeah.
it's got that
So-
mecha. Yeah, for sure. And then
And I mean, actually, I think like half the games we've talked about right here, Matterfall looked very futuristic. Then you have Detroit Become Human, very futuristic.
hmm
So
but yeah, I mean, those are some of the highlights. There were some other cool trailers. It'll be interesting to see if they have anything left in the tank for
PSX.
PSX, yeah.
They'll probably cover tracks on the other
release
games they
dates
didn't
for
cover.
everything.
Yeah, and they'll probably
Hopefully, like some Mass Effect maybe.
Oh yeah,
take-
Andromeda, right? I
I'll
think that's
take
what the
anything
next title is.
Andromeda.
probably do more Vita stuff since Vita wasn't announced once during the Paris Games Week. I know it's kind of like a
I
dying.
thought there was I mean it was a headline I saw that there are currently no first party Vita things in
Mm-hmm.
progress.
Yep. And then the Shuhei Yoshida, the president, was essentially like, yeah, there's not really any point in pushing handheld right now.
I mean, they just released some more numbers for PlayStation 4 sales. I think it's up to 25 million now.
Yeah, it's
Just stupid
GG.
high.
it's killing it. Touched on, so moving on from Paris Games Week, we touched on the Bob Ross Joy of Painting Marathon, which has been averaging like 40,000 plus viewers on Twitch to launch
Which is
their new.
ongoing. If anyone would enjoy some happy accidents.
It's mesmerizing. I couldn't take my eyes off it. League of Legends World Championship was
Oh boy,
yesterday.
this is a topic.
The Koreans won. Spoilers.
The Koreans won.
Yeah, and they won handily. I
To
was
the
like,
surprise of absolutely nobody at
Yeah.
this point in time.
it was almost like, yeah, the stories that happened after the World Championship with the NA off season were more interesting for the drama queens like us. But
It was good going into the championship because you had like the super duper upsets that happened early on, and then it just kind of went.
yeah, I thought the whole broadcast felt really stiff too. Like the broadcasters just were very. Like, I'm getting a little bit irritated with the style of Riot and LCS in that they're so stiff. Like, they don't, like, really let them make jokes or have a personality. They just talk, like, hardcore about the game all the time. Like, there's no, like, I mean, and that's only something that you're going to get annoyed with if you're watching it for a long period of time. And that's only something that's a matter of personal taste. But I just watched the finals and I was like, this is very, like, formulaic and predictable and just kind of straightforward. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit.
It's like they took a note from pretty much ESPN in that respect, though, right? I mean, I
Definitely,
feel like
yeah.
it. And I mean, I guess take it seriously if you want to be taken seriously. So
Yeah, it's
The way
true.
I mean,
they-
there's the opposite point
The
of
way
that.
they should do it is they should just release the gameplay and then just have the odd one sit there and comment.
Yeah.
or now newly retired Dyrus and odd one just sitting there being like, look at this fucktard.
Yeah.
Or, look at this guy.
Yeah, it's like, but even yeah.
Or some trick 2G.
Oh, dude, I would watch the shit out of a trick.
Because Trick would just be like, maximum disrespect.
Yeah.
Open the gates.
I just
one
want to.
thing-
Yeah.
One thing I'll say that's good for when the World Championship ends. We get preseason changes.
Yeah.
I
So,
did see a lot of those ADC changes. Jesus.
ADC changes, and that's gonna be a lot of fun. If anything gets me back in the game, it's gonna be just that.
Did you
we
read
know
the
who
jungle
the new,
changes, Patrick?
Jungle changes.
There's a
I
ton
know
of-
about the Baron guy.
There's a bunch of jungle changes. I haven't read them yet, but
Okay.
I guess
Do
new-
we
know
have
there's-
another upcoming champion yet? Or is that just...
They've released like the champion
Teaser?
select voice, but that's about it.
mm-hmm. Halo 5 came out. It got good reviews. I just felt it was news because I'm a Halo fanboy, and
I feel like that came in like super under the radar. I actually wasn't even aware that released this week.
I really think that it's just like we're pretty out of touch with that social circle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like it's as under the radar as Assassin's Creed releases.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
people are playing it and people are enjoying it, but God, it's their X installment, and
Kind of weird
The
how
peop-
that works, right? The better your launch, the less your publicity.
unless it's just like blows everything out of the water, if
Right.
it's just like a normal good launch, then everything is fine and happy.
Well, it
Like,
also
I
matters
feel-
too. Like if it was a new IP that has a good launch, that's a much bigger deal than like
Yeah.
if Black Ops 3 has a good launch or like when New Horizon, like that game when it launches is gonna have a lot of conversation about how it did, regardless.
Yeah.
So it is just like, I don't know, the 7th or 8th Halo game. So
Overall, yeah.
yeah.
All right. So, are you going to access the story in any way? Are you gonna watch someone play it, or
Yeah,
just gonna
I've watched
let it
Let's
go?
Plays and I've read a lot about the story.
Hmm.
If it comes to Windows, which there's a chance it might, I would play through the campaign. But honestly, and like the Halo story is, yeah, like it's like you said, it's a good one, but the campaign is good more so because of the shooting mechanics, and the cutscenes are what drive the story. It's not necessarily like a game where you like Last of Us where you feel like you're living the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah, it's too bad I'm not gonna be able to get it because yeah, it's on my Xbox, but I don't feel like I'm missing out that much. There's just so much other stuff that's more story
Yeah.
driven, and I don't have to get through as much of the other stuff because I never even played Halo 4. So like the story to me, I'm still stuck in Halo 2.
I did watch like a Halo franchise in about 5 minutes, and I mean, it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, like
I'm sure I didn't cover everything, but
it's neat, but a lot of it is just it's all together, like the memories of like the sleepovers in like 6th grade playing the campaign and the flood levels, like like I played through co-op on Halo 2 just hundreds of times, and it's a good story, but it's also good because of how good those games were and like their cultural significance and all that junk. Steam Halloween sale.
Ooh.
I brought this up because this is my first Steam sale.
Oh, is it
This
really?
is the first time I've ever been like I got this is the first, since I built a computer. This is the first sale that just took place,
Okay.
and I was just like,
first major
Wait,
sale. You
when
mean?
did you build it?
Shit's on sale all the time.
August.
August. Okay, I was
Or
about to say summer sales, but then I realized.
I missed summer sale.
Just wait for your first summer sale.
Dude, this is crazy. I've never seen anything like this. Like, the Steam store discounts have to be the best kept secret in gaming. Because if console gamers knew how much you could buy like Shadow of Mordor for right now on Steam, like they would be like, what? Like
But that's
Bioshock.
the thing, though. You know what?
No,
It's not even a best kept
versus
secret. It's
no
just
versus like Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls is still $59.99 on the PlayStation Store.
Yeah,
I'm sure. I mean that's a bad decision. That's a bad example because Blizzard's prices are still pretty high. Like they're not going through Steam, but just like games like that you could get on Steam.
yeah. I mean, I think it's a good example. PC Master Race over here, Christian's like, this is not a secret, guys.
Yeah.
it's just I feel like man, it's just the circle I hang out with then I guess because we always talk about the sales and we're always like, well, if I hold off for another day, maybe the game will get an even better sale because that generally ends up happening. A lot of people will buy a game on like the first couple of days of sales without waiting it all the way through to see if the game gets put on sale.
Yeah. No, I
And
mean,
that's the biggest tip I have for anybody who intends to go into a Steam sale is wait until your game comes on. And if it's the last day and your game hasn't come on, it's just okay, now you can get it.
yeah, me and Patrick are not as familiar with this world. So some quick Halloween sale trivia. How much do you think? Well, let's ask Patrick, not Christian, because Christian knows this stuff. I mean, how much
Hmm.
do you think BioShock Infinite costs
Where?
on Steam?
Uh, 11.99.
$7.49.
Yeah.
That's what that game's only a little over 2.5 years old. BioShock 1 and 2 are each $3.99. Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor, a 1-year-old game, is $16.99. Also, how many games do you guys think are on sale?
Oh God. I don't even want to attempt to
dude,
count
it
that.
could be like in the hundreds easily, maybe even more.
It-
They're not all. If we're talking about,
So I know exactly how many there are. So I'm at like, if you guys want to give a guess on the Halloween sale.
I'm gonna go
Shit.
with 300.
I'm gonna say 1,000 plus.
1,911. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Like I literally Googled like 3 games that have been on my list for forever.
And they're all there.
And they're all there.
All
Like
there.
I got like Thomas Was Alone was like 50% off. Let's see. Thomas Was Alone was 33% off for 660. Castle Crashers was like 50% off for like less than $10, and then Crypt of the Necromancer, which is like a really cool like dungeon crawler thing, was like 50% off, and it's just like It was cool.
This is why I think it's just, and I'm gonna plug it for a little bit here, but I think it's just such. If you're a fan of a game, but you don't think you can get it at that point in time, or you want to hold off until a later point, if you have a PC, I would recommend it on Steam because you can just get the games. Like, look at it. Like, Shadow of Mordor was a year old.
$16, yeah.
$16. You know,
Yeah.
and if you, I mean, you know, there are a lot of people nowadays who are like, I really like that game, but I don't like it enough to get it as, you know, first edition. And if it's a single player game, you don't have to worry about the multiplayer being dead or
Yeah.
whatever happens along further down the line. So if you want to just hold on to your money until you get some, you know, and I mean, at that point in time, you could buy 3 or 4 games for the price of one
That was
that
a
you
good. Yeah.
were holding off on getting anyway.
It was a really good PC port too. I don't know. And the game, yeah, it's cool. It's $26 on Amazon right now for PS4, which is not a huge difference, but that's not digital. I don't on digital. It's probably digital is $60.
Probably 10. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's $60 for a digital.
Yeah.
See. So I mean, it's just one of those things. So that's just a pro tip going into Steam sale, or if
But,
you guys ever have a
Speaking of poor PC ports, Arkham
God.
Knight came back
Hey.
out. God damn it, guys! Let me finish the sentence. Trying to be suave as fuck, and you guys are
Dude.
making me awkward as hell.
Dude, no, dude.
Okay, Arkham Knight came back out on the PC, and it apparently is still a broken piece of shit.
Yep.
Yeah, so
So-
fuck you, PC players.
So, well,
Pretty
Warner
much,
Bros.
right?
is saying, just refund this shit. You can. You've got until like the end of the year to get your money back. So do it.
I'm glad that they acknowledged that they fucked up the PC port.
That's crazy.
'Cause,
I mean, they didn't
I
have
mean,
a
the
choice.
fact that they're allowing you to refund the game up until the end of the year is pretty freaking crazy.
That's a non-dick move, but it sucks dicks that had to happen.
Yeah.
Right, and it's just that I mean that's a learning experience for anybody who's paying attention to that. I mean, if you fuck up your PC port and it's like a AAA title, you're gonna like people are gonna make it rain fire.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If you screw up any port on any game, going from PC to console or console back, it just
Yeah. That's why I'm
Yeah.
glad
people are
I
gonna
have-
make it rain fire. So don't screw up the port.
At least we all have options, except for you, Christian.
Except for me, I have no option.
Christian,
Well,
what are you
no,
gonna do when
with
Final
your-
Fantasy 15 comes out?
I'm not gonna care at this point in time.
Just
I don't
curious
know.
if you were a fan enough.
I'll-
Because my friend, he's a PC Master Race, and he's like, that would be the game as a console breaker for me. I was just curious if there was a game out there that would console break you. I imagine it would have.
Are we
been
talking
fun.
about 15? Is the one that they've been like demoing trailers for and stuff like that, right?
Mhm. Right now, it's
Yeah.
only confirmed for consoles.
I'm super excited in this story, but I don't know, I feel like unless they release it for PC, it's not going to be that big of a deal for me because all of the games that I have such a big tie to were played in my childhood. Like I went back and I played through 13, and 13 just didn't have the exact same impact. I mean, I was engrossed in the story, but it didn't have the exact same impact as playing through 7 for the first time or
That's
10
crazy.
for the first time.
Because from what I understand, 13 kind of got a bad rep. People were not happy with 13.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't. I mean,
'cause
that's just
it shocked me because I talked to another friend about 13 because I know your avatar, or at least the icon I made you, has lightning on it.
yep.
And he particularly did not like lightning. And he's like,
Yeah.
because the whole game was bad. Lightning was kind of a whiny bitch. But I was just curious. I was like, oh shit, because my friend really likes that game. And
It wasn't as depthful, but when it comes to I don't know, I really enjoyed the character of Lightning as an individual compared to the rest of the protagonists because one, she's the first female. Well, I guess you could count Yuna to a degree, but she
too.
just
But
wasn't as badass
no,
throughout the
Yuna's-
course of it.
Yuna is not badass. She
No.
is Wonder Bread.
Right.
She is
So I mean,
Wonder Bread.
it was the first time where you had like an actual female lead taking point on everything, and I mean, she was a soldier and she did her job. That's all it went down to. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the environment, the OST, everything about the game. But I'm very much in the minority of Final Fantasy fans when it comes to 13.
Okay. I didn't mean it to be a whole big thing. It just triggered in my head.
That was interesting. Last bit of news: Empire Magazine's coverage of Suicide Squad. What happened?
They just released 4 major pictures.
Mm-hmm.
5, I guess. 2 of the Joker, 1 of Kara Devangeline's Enchantress, which was fucking crazy.
That was such a cool picture.
Then they released 1 of Will Smith as Deadshot. with the little eyepiece, which is really cool.
Wait,
and then
did they still like show his face though?
they showed his face.
Come on.
I think okay, and from a Reddit thread that I read, they said like they have to show Will Smith's face just because
He cost so
people are
much
gonna
money.
watch the fucking movie because of Will Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though he has a mask, like it's just they're just not gonna not show his.
I just
face.
didn't really. I hope they do something about this super campy dialogue that he has. Just from that trailer, I was like, the trailer kind of turned me off a little bit because of those lines. But
I don't mind the campy.
Yeah,
I did
think,
to a degree.
I think it's fine. Like Will Smith, like because we talked about it when these covers came out. He's got an awesome resume of movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
I'd like him as a movie star. I know a lot of people give him shit, and just because like we need to see his face and everything. But the fact that he's not like in the DC universe as like a major player, he's this, third tier villain in a movie is for me. It's cool. I think it's cool that he chose to do this.
I really care.
Yeah, go ahead.
I care a lot more, and it's only really superhero movies that it really bugs me. I think like when it just takes me out of it, because there's like a level of suspension of disbelief that's already required for superhero movies. At least for someone like me who's just not as into it. Right. So it just makes it a little bit tougher.
No, and that totally makes sense.
He's also like a side character, kind of, right? He's not even like the main character, I guess, which isn't, I guess, a bad or a good thing, but.
Right. I mean, and that's why I said like, because everyone always makes fun of that Will Smith has to be the center of attention, and I think him playing a side character in this movie I'm really okay with it. And I mean, we're not gonna go into the fact, because I've always been bothered when people are like, but Deadshot's not black in real life. It's like that doesn't, or he's not black in the comics. It's like that shit doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean,
unless it's an important African American character in the comic books like Static Shock or Black Panther, then that's gonna
Miles
matter.
Morales.
If people are oh man, people are really complaining about that. Fuck the internet.
People complained about Michael B. Jordan as what's his first name?
Fantastic Four guy.
Yeah,
Johnny
it's
Storm.
like Johnny Storm. It's like, well, Kate Mara. I don't know. It's just Kate Mara's white, he's black, and the step thing doesn't make sense. And it's like, unless that's an actual changes the plot for a real reason, like that shit doesn't matter. And I think it was a decent representation of brothers. I mean, I didn't watch the movie, but
that's terrible. I hate
it could
the
have
internet.
been like it's a representation of how like people are these days, and I think that's a fine interpretation of it.
Well, yeah, like I don't know, like diversity is something that should be like celebrated, not
embraced.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of when it shouldn't matter, people shouldn't fucking.
Yeah.
In that vein, though, first Black Superman, though. That'd be interesting.
There is a Black Superman, and I think Earth 2 is black.
Damn, drop it down.
I actually was unaware of that.
Comic knowledge.
Boom, bombs.
I was gonna say like the Gamer Greggy show did they did a topic on political correctness and how it's gotten like whatever. Which is not, I don't know, neither here nor
screw being PC.
Yeah, that was interesting because I think that I don't know. I'm like I'm of two minds about it. But it was essentially we're not gonna get into it. Sorry.
That's a topic another day, Ben.
Yeah, or even just not a topic
Like
for
never.
our
Yeah.
podcast. That's not what we want to talk about. I don't want to talk about that. All right. Well, the news crushed it. So I want to save we got a game put together for a kind of a cult classic description type game. So we're gonna save that for next week. So I'm gonna wrap it up. All right, that's gonna do it for this I really shouldn't be so stiff. I'm like reading these. I always read it, but if I say I'm about to wrap it up and then I say, "All right, that's gonna do it," it's a little bit silly.
You've like written down what's supposed to be organic.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't miss anything.
You just need to memorize this little closeout bit.
I was gonna say just do bullet points like wrap up, plug YouTube channels, like us on iTunes,
plug twatters.
That makes a lot of
Plugger
sense,
Twatters.
but you guys are doing my job right now. No, I'm just
Oh
kidding.
shit! I'm sorry. Take care, everyone. Later, bitch.
No, we're not done. I have to read it or I'm gonna cry. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Audio drops weekly every Monday. Drop us a review on iTunes. We'd love your feedback and opinions. Look out for the live stream Sunday afternoons on twitch.tv/theqpodcast. We are fig_TV at cmonkey2eyes and at freebrunch on Twitter. Take care, everyone.
Later, bitches.
Peace.
Just kidding.
Don't worry, I didn't cut you off there.
Okay.